Please welcome to the stage Ambassador Martin Kimani, President and CEO of the Africa Centre.
Good evening. I want to thank the UN Foundation and Elizabeth for inviting me to be part of this wonderful evening. We have a ceasefire to celebrate, and I have 4 minutes to share a reflection as we navigate this incredibly dangerous moment. One evening in February of 2022, I was at the horseshoe-shaped table at the UN Security Council. Russia had announced its recognition of 2 breakaway provinces in Ukraine, and we all knew that war was imminent. That evening, I said aloud what was on so many people's minds, that multilateralism lay on its deathbed. That was 4 years ago. The world has become even more dangerous since then. We stand much closer to the edge between a complete surrender to predation and force as the rule governing nations, or the reimagination and renewal of a flawed, unequal global system that has always needed deep crisis to be transformed. To the most powerful states in the world, we're back in February 1945, and they're having a kind of new Yalta conference to reorganize the world according to their specific visions for it. For the rest of us, and in particular those states and nations born into the international system post-1945, we are not in Yalta. For the Africans, we are much closer to the 1884 Berlin Conference, poised to live under the rule of force as the powerful free themselves from the restraints they accepted in 1945 in return for collective security. They are sorely tempted, and we are endangered. All of us, every people, every civilization, in every part of the world, rich or poor, have lived under the rule of force and tyranny at some point. These forces call to the powerful like a dark, inextricable part of our human nature. In June 1936, Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia asked the League of Nations a question that an increasing number of diplomats and leaders are asking at the UN. What reply shall I take back to my people? His country was burning, but his confidence in collective security was strong. I thought it to be impossible, he said, that 52 nations should be successfully opposed by a single aggressor. In 2022, we in the Security Council had no answer. Today in West Asia, in South America, and in the Horn of Africa, we have too few answers. The brutal aggression visited on Ethiopia in 1935 was among the fires that consumed the old order and forced the construction of a new one. Even then, the majority of peoples were excluded from it. They still lived in a world shaped by Berlin and its arrangements. But we're not helpless, even in the worst of times. Ralph Bunche was in San Francisco in June 1945 as a champion of civil rights and worldwide freedom, and as one of the visionaries who drafted the Charter. He was linked by solidarity, principle, and vision to the freedom fighters who assembled in Manchester in October 1945 for the Pan-African Congress, demanding the new UN embrace their cause for independence and equality. A decade later, the force of that message, ringing from Bandung to the streets of colonial cities worldwide, was joined to the instruments of the Charter. This transformed the world within a generation and helped free the many millions who had been living under the yoke of empire. What reply shall we carry to the people from this dinner this evening? I propose that we tell them that there is no bunker deep enough, no bank account large enough, no wall high enough, and no military force powerful enough to protect any of us from a world that is run by the rule of force. The UN at 80 must be something more than cost-cutting, more than procedural reform, more than procedural minimum. It needs to be the kind of singular act of political and moral imagination that birthed a revitalized United Nations in 1960 with the acceleration of decolonization. We need more Manchester coalitions joined to more delegations, to more UN officials, if we're to answer Haile Selassie's question to his satisfaction. Thank you, and congratulations to my great friend Maria Ressa for being recognized tonight. Good night.